Good day, everyone. Today we will talk about some more lies being dumped on our kids in public schools. Just make sure that you watch the previous videos in the series as they follow on each other. Please subscribe, like, and share these videos as much as possible. Look, I don't care if you want to teach evolution or not. Just don't use lies to support your theory. This is all they are doing so far, is lying to your kids. People don't want me to use the word lie and want me to rather use the word misinterpretation. You know, some big word that kids will not understand. I like the word lie. The Bible says, use great plainness of speech. Well, they are lying to your kids, okay? The Bible says that God created the world in 6 days. The textbook says that it took over billions of years for the earth to get here. Somebody is clearly wrong, and I like to show them who they are. The Bible says, cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. In Revelation chapter 4, it says that God created all things. Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool, God said. Hath not my hand made all these things? The Bible is very clear on who made the world. It says in Psalms that He formed the eye. Let me reiterate by way of a question. Who formed the eye? Yes, you get it. God made it. Charles Darwin said in his book, to suppose that the eye could have been formed by natural selection seems, I freely confess, absurd in the highest degree. How can blind chance make a seeing eye? Now, after saying this, Darwin went on for some pages on how it happened anyway. The back of your eyeball is about 2.5 centimeters squared, and yet it contains about 137 million light-sensitive cells. Wouldn't you like to meet the electrician that hooked up 137 million connections in 1 square inch? My Father in heaven did it. The atheistic scientist will have you know that the human eye is poorly designed with blood vessels in front of the retina, as opposed to that of octopi, which has the blood vessels behind the retina. Here is the dumbed-down explanation to such a dumb argument. Humans live on land and have to see through the air or atmosphere. There's not much in the air to block the harmful UV rays from the sun, but the blood vessels in front of the retina does this very well. The octopus lives in the water. Water blocks the harmful UV rays of the sun very effectively and lets more light through, which they need for living in the water, which is generally darker than in the air. So if our atheist friends want to have octopus eyes, great! Just remember that they will go blind very quickly, as the UV rays of the sun will burn those retinas. See, we are designed just right for where we are living, and the octopus is designed just right for where it is living. You see, the argument is trying to be that a God would not have made such a poor design. Therefore, it had to have been evolution. They don't see how silly this is. Arguing against creation is not proof for evolution. They say that it would take 100 years of Cray computer time to simulate what takes place in your eye, many times every second. Look at what this textbook says. The human eye may be a product of millions of years of evolution. Why doesn't God get the glory for what He had made? This textbook shows 2 different types of animals' eyes, and it says, boys and girls, you can best understand how the eye might have evolved if you picture a series of changes. In other words, you have to imagine how it happened. That is because you cannot scientifically observe it happening. You have to imagine it. This is not science, people. You can imagine all you want, but it will never suddenly become a fact. So stop teaching it as a scientific fact to our kids. It is a big, fat lie. The Bible says that God formed the eye. That is the only way I can explain it. It is so complex that someone extremely smart had to have made it. Science deals with things we can study, observe, test, and demonstrate. Most people do not believe that the earth is millions of years old, okay? Now, it stands to reason that if something as complex as the eye was designed, that there must be a designer. If you find a painting, there must be a painter. If you find a building, there must be a builder. For a watch, there must be a watchmaker. If you see a creation, it is evidence of a creator. Whether you ever meet him or not, design demands a designer. The Bible says, "The invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. They are without excuse. But they become vain in their imaginations, and their foolish hearts were darkened." They don't want to glorify God, so they chose to believe the obviously silly idea that we all came from a rock. The psalmist says, "When I consider thy heavens," see, Satan knows that anybody that studies science with an open mind is going to be drawn to the Creator. And he's worked really hard in the field of science to draw people away from the Creator. To the evolutionists out there, this is Mount Rushmore, the world's largest rock group. I'll pause to let it sink in. Do you think that there is any way that these faces could have appeared on this mountain by chance? You know, maybe the wind did it, or erosion, or whatever else you can think of. Of course, you would say that these faces were designed by a guy named Gutzon Borglum. I'll ask you evolutionists another question. Do you believe that the man, George Washington, is a product of chance over billions of years? To which you would have to say yes. Now watch this. You don't believe that his face can appear on a rock, but you do think that his whole complex anatomy with 75 plus trillion cells could happen by chance. Dear evolutionist, are you dumb in any other areas? But they avoid using the word design in textbooks. Watch this carefully. They say, boys and girls, notice how plants are adapted to their environment. They say, gills are an adaptation to living in water. Why don't they say designed? By the way, how did the fish live and breathe before they adapted gills? They avoid the word design because if they used it, some kid would ask, then who is the designer? Look, soon I will have a Huawei P40 cell phone. It can tell time, take pictures and videos, store information, go on the internet, has 8 GB RAM and 128 GB internal storage and much, much more. I never met or saw the guy that designed this phone, but I suspect that there is someone who made it. Is it logical for me to say that? I believe there is a designer who made this phone, even though I've never met him? Watch this. Is it logical for me to say, I never saw or met the guy who made this phone, therefore he does not exist? You don't have to see or even know the designer of this universe to know that he exists. The design demands a designer. See, the evolutionists argue against design using arguments they designed. Guys, God made you and He loves you. He wants you to choose Him over this world and promise that if you do, you will live with Him forever. Give your heart to God. Stop living in denial, which is a river in Egypt anyway, and stop sinning. Just bow your head in obedience and give your life to Him. Unfortunately, this is all we have time for today. Please like, subscribe, and share as much as possible to help my channel grow. We have a Skype Bible study session at 6 p.m. South African Standard Time every Sunday night. If you are interested to join, please pop me an email. You can find mine in the description. Don't forget to leave a donation. Instructions on how to do so will follow. Thanks again, and God bless. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified of our next video. You can help us create better videos by leaving a donation on Patreon. The link is in the description. Thank you. We hope to see you next time.